You're listening to Hysteria. I'm Erin. This is Alyssa. Alyssa, do you feel like you're army crawling toward the end of the year, just on your stomach?
I am in the mud, dude. My gut is in the mud, and I am just one elbow in front of the other trying to cross the finish line.
I mean, the only thing giving me energy, it's not even like things are super dark and depressing necessarily.
No.
It's just like, it's become, I don't know, it's the slog time of the year.
The tank is empty.
Like,
the tank is empty.
Yeah, the tank is empty. All of the lights are on. I've been using them to help me put makeup on when I'm in park. And I haven't been fixing my car, and I'm really, really torturing this metaphor at this point. But we're almost to the end of the year. It's like lame duck energy. This part of the year always feels
we
like
have lame duck energy with no, except we have no change of party coming. So we're really lame ducks. We're like, whatever, we don't care.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in that spirit, there is something that we should talk about when it comes to lame duck and the lame duck session of Congress. When we were talking about this yesterday, you pointed out that Senator Amy Klobuchar is always on top of the boring but necessary legislation.
She's keeping our democracy safe.
But I want to take a moment to talk about something that just might not be on your mind right now. That is the Electoral Count Act. So what happened January 6th? Well, outrageous interpretations of this archaic law from like the 1880s were at the center of the plan to overturn the 2020 election, the plan that drove the insurrectionists to the Capitol. I'll put it simply, for the sake of our democracy, we need to update this law.
She is, and she's doing it at a plus 30 in Minnesota, which is insane. Can you explain a little bit about what Amy and company have been up to in the Senate during this lame duck session?
Okay, Erin. So seems we have a little problem. We all know the Electoral College is problematic, but so is how the Electoral College votes are counted. The 19th century law that governs this process currently is vague, poorly drafted, has been for 133 years, never really affected our day-to-day until Donald Trump and his goons tried reading into the ambiguities in this law. And it wasn't until January 6th that we realized how that could be really fucking problematic when Donald Trump was under the assumption that Mike Pence could just overturn the election by the counting of the votes. So the point of this overhaul is to remove any doubt that the vice presidential's role is ministerial only in counting electoral college votes. It would lift the threshold for members of Congress to force a vote on discounting presidential electors from just one member of the House and Senate each to 1/3 both chambers to be able to do this. It would require governors to send electors to Congress for the candidates who won based on state law set before Election Day. No retroactive jiggery-pokery would be able to happen. As of now, there is a bipartisan agreement. Erin, even Mitch McConnell is on board with this shit, apparently. So Congress is working on the spending bill, known as the omnibus, to help keep the governor funded. If there's a deal in place for the omnibus, which it looks like there might be, the idea is to attach this as an amendment and pass it through Congress.
Okay, well, that seems remarkably sensible, and it would prevent future presidents from trying to use Air Bud logic to overturn. There's no rule that says the vice president can't overturn an election.
But you won't find anything in there that says a dog can't play.
He's right. Ain't no rule said the dog can't play basketball.
There's no rule that says the dog can't play golf. So now they're just saying, yes, there actually is a rule.
There's a rule.
Now there is a rule. And, you know, when was the original act enacted? 1887.
1887.
1887. I feel like at that point, a lot of people who were writing the laws were suffering from various heavy metal poisonings or like fetal
all kinds of stuff
situations, because in the early American history, everyone was constantly mildly drunk on alcoholic cider. Did you know that?
I didn't, but it seems very logical and reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it always seems silly to me that we sort of like worship the founders to the extent that we do, because it's like, yeah, well, everyone was basically like tipsy on cider. But that's a whole nother episode for a whole nother time. I want to talk really quickly about crypto and how I'm feeling very vindicated that I never could understand it. And now I'm like,
is this where you explain what crypto is to me?
No, this is where I'm like, now I'm never going to have to know, because it was always a fucking scam, just like I felt deep down in my gut, because it didn't make sense to me. It was like, okay, so we use energy to make, no. And if anybody tries to send me an email explaining
we don't want it.
I don't want it. I don't care. Crypto is a scam, has always been a scam. And now one of the most visible faces of crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried, was arrested in the Bahamas for doing things that are super duper illegal with client money. Now, years and years ago, before I was writing, I worked at Merrill Lynch for a while. I needed health insurance. In 2006, they were hiring everyone.
We've all had our moments in big banking.
Right. They were hiring everyone with a pulse. I did not make like tons of money doing it. I still owed student loans when I was done working there. Most of the people who are working at like big banks are working in jobs where they are supporting people who are making a ton of money. They are not themselves making a ton of money. Just to caveat that. When I was working there, one of the first things they teach you is that when the customer gives you money, you can't just like use that money for your own purposes. That's like kind of the number one rule. You can't just like, if someone gives you money in a savings account, you can't just like go buy shit with that money and then not have money to give the person to take money out of their savings account. That's why the Federal Reserve exists. But I'm shocked that Sam Bankman-Fried was just doing exactly that. He was taking customers' money and he was using it to do his own shit. And so when people
shit. Make donations to candidates, buy things. I mean, Erin, ew.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what's funny? Just two of us here. Would that ever fucking cross your mind? Would you, like, this is the thing I think is so fascinating of all these, like, people. Like, would you ever take people's money and think, you know what? I am so fucking smart. I'm going to make this money back after I give it all away, and they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's called a gambling addiction. I feel like that is called having
ding.
I can't imagine it. The audacity, first of all. I also think, and I'm just being a little bit smug here with my like, welling of this, but I think that a lot of people who believed in Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and cryptocurrency as like the future of investing, were kind of just buying into hype that pre-existed, and they weren't really figuring out on their own whether or not this made sense. Mm-hmm. They were kind of showing up to the parade, and the emperor was like parading naked through the street, and they were like, he's got to be wearing clothes, right?
He's totally wearing clothes. They're somewhere.
He's like, that's a great outfit. Like we can all see the outfit. I feel like that happens a lot. It's like something that is like scammy, but can be made to sound smart, is sold to people who don't want to seem dumb.
It is the core principle of the Theranos scandal.
Yeah.
All those smart people on her board, like secretaries of state and shit. And they were like, I don't want to seem like I don't understand it, so I'm going to take her word for it.
Mm-hmm. It would be like if I really wanted to make myself out to be like super intelligent, and I just totally made up a book that didn't exist and talked about how I'd read it and it changed my life, and like everyone just pretended that they'd also read the book, but the book like never really existed. Yeah, it's just there is so much in America that is propelled by a desire for people to feel as though they understand something better than everybody else, or they are keeping up with something that seems smart, but really they don't get what's going on at all.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, this is like, when this whole scandal happened, I was like, God, does this mean I'm going to have to finally learn what crypto is? But I don't, because it's over, according to me.
You can learn what crypto was. Maybe.
RIP.
Yeah, RIP. I mean, it's still around. People are still investing in it and stuff. And a few months ago, Josh told me, like, I think I want to invest a little bit in crypto. And I was like, no, you don't. If you can't explain an investment vehicle, don't invest in it. Like, I'm no financial genius, but I think if you can't like give me the Cliff's Notes version of what the thing is that you're investing in, then maybe it's not for you. You know, like people who play the options market, it's like, can you explain to me what this is? And if you can't, then maybe do something a little bit more simple, but whatever.
Invest in Apple. I'm just kidding.
Invest in building a time machine to go back into the 1980s and invest in Apple.
That's true.
Yeah. But anyway, no, this is not an investment podcast. We don't pretend to know what to do with money at all.
No. We just save it the best we can.
Yeah, exactly. Do we have anything else we want to talk about in this kind of sloggy slog week, or are we good?
I think we're good.
You think we're good?
I think we're good.
Did you watch White Lotus? Can we talk about that?
No, tell me about it. Can you do me this? Can you tell me this?
What?
Tell me that. Can you tell me if I should watch it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell
Absolutely.
me what you love the most about it.
What I love the most about it is, first of all, the device that kicks off every season is brilliant. Someone finds a dead body. Who is it? And who killed them? And watching each individual story unfold, and sometimes entwined, but sometimes just not entwined. They just happen parallel to each other. It's just really good writing. This season is really like subtle and smart. And Jennifer Coolidge is an actual goddess.
Okay.
Aubrey Plaza is a star. Like
I started watching the first few episodes and she's who I was drawn to. But then I was like not really into it, but I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to give it another chance.
Yeah.
Because I loved last season.
Yeah. It's slower this season, but it really speeds up at the end. And I think Mike White, who is the like director, creator, writer of the show, is like a genius. And I loved this season so much. I went back and I started rewatching Enlightened. Did you ever watch Enlightened?
No.
Laura Dern. It was like one of those shows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I was not addicted to it, but I have watched it.
It has happened. It's like one of those shows that was considered a comedy that is like absolutely not a comedy. Also, our friend Michaela Watkins is in it.
Yes.
And she's great. But it's really good and it's really smart. And I feel like he's got a lot of insight into relationships that you don't often see written out or like depicted on screen. And I just really, really loved it.
See, you went back and watched Enlightened. I started Sister Wives from season 1 of 17.
Oh my God. Wait, have you watched all of them already?
No. So I have. So over the last 12 years or 15 years, I have watched them all. But Erin,
so you're rewatching them.
I'm rewatching them because first wife number 3 left him. First Christine left him several months ago. And now I am happy to report that Janelle fucking left his ass too. I love her. I think we would be friends. And so now I'm going back to look for clues to see all throughout why they ended up leaving him. I mean, it was obvious to me he's annoying as hell. But no, I'm doing the forensics on 17 seasons of Sister Wives.
Oh my God. Wow. That's dedication and I have to respect it. Speaking of one item of news that I saw this morning that I was like, is this a metaphor? So scientists in Israel have figured out a way to genetically modify hens so they only lay female eggs.
No shit.
And that's because when chickens lay eggs, regardless of whether or not their eggs have been fertilized. But in the chicken industry, in the egg industry, if a chick is born and it's a male, it's just discarded. Oh. So like something like 7 billion male chickens are just like discarded every year. They're just not useful. Like they take up space, they get in fights, they're aggressive.
That seems sad.
So it is really sad, but like it's funny that like chicken breeders are like, the males
not helpful.
Not helpful. What if only females? And I was like, It feels like it reflects some broader trends in
The world.
social attitudes I've witnessed lately. But that's another conversation for another time. Congratulations to all those male chickens that aren't going to be born and have to deal with the horrible life of being in a barn, I guess.
Yeah, bye.